Hey guys, Jerry Beerman at Alluring Glass, and yesterday we had our Conduit workshop, and I just want to give you my takeaway from the Conduit workshop yesterday. Paul Bauscher did a great job. But one of the things that Bauscher said, and I wrote it down, is building a business is fundamentally getting results through other people. Think about what I just said, what Bauscher said. Building a business is fundamentally getting results through other people, and we're like, oh, that's the challenge. And so yesterday at the Action Lab, we talked about recruiting people. Like, how in the world do you recruit people? Next month in October, we're going to talk about, well, how do you vet them? How do you interview them and ultimately hire them? And then in November, we're going to talk about, like, how do you onboard them? So the next 3 months, if you have plans to hire somebody, if you have plans to hire anybody in 2026, if you have plans on hiring anybody in 2026, like, man, we'd like to get this right, recognizing that to build your business, that person you're hiring you're going to get results through them. So I want to go over just a high level of some of the notes that I took through from the workshop, from the workbook from the workshop. And so one of the things that Bauscher talked about was cloning yourself, which is terrifying, right? So cloning yourself, cloning your strengths, and then obviously there's my weaknesses that are getting cloned as well. So that was an interesting exercise. But if you could clone yourself, the context around it was, could I clone some of the results that I get? Could I hire somebody to get those exact same results? And then we went through an exercise that I found really interesting. Was the job description was really predicated on what results do you want to get? So when we're building our job descriptions, we're thinking, hey, what results do we want to get from this job description? Again, I found that super helpful. And then the next thing that we talked about was, and you might talk about it like company culture or your personality. And I think this is good. I was talking to Greg Jurgensen, and it's just, he's got a small company, and it could be just Greg and Annie, for instance, in your business, and saying, hey, what is the company personality? And it could be a solopreneur, it could be a husband, wife, or it could be a small team. But what is that personality? What is that culture? And what might you want it to be? So this was very convicting for me, because at Alluring Glass, we have established a culture, and we've got 27-ish men and women on our team that support and build our culture. And I'm thinking, man, what changes do I want to make to the culture? So what is the personality, and then what do you want the personality to be? So I just said a whole bunch quick from a recap standpoint. Here's what we're interested in doing is we're going to do free office hours. So Conduit is committed to the members and prospective members to come into the organizations for us to actually help build your business. And in 2026, we're super excited about that. So stay tuned for some office hours that we're going to invite you guys in. If you weren't able to make the Action Lab, we're going to invite you in. Don't worry, and we're going to walk you through this. If you were at the Action Lab, we're going to invite you to the office hours and say, hey, let's put some meat on the bones, and let's get this from the recruiting standpoint. Let's get the recruiting going. And then so when we get to October, we'll start working on the interviewing and the vetting process. So stay tuned.